Rebecca Hill can't really catch a break, can she? She, of course, the clerk of court, has been, had been, will be, I don't know. In Colleton County, we're talking about the clerk of court in the Alex Murdaugh case that has now new accusations levied against her of plagiarizing her shitty book that she put out, that she self-published and probably is going to, in that process of book promotion and alleged jury tampering and alleged wire tapping by her son and abuse of power of her office, will end up giving Alex Murdaugh a new trial. We'll find that out, though, later in the year.
I did reach out to her many months ago to have her on to talk about her book. She never did get back to me. I'm so sorry.
That's a shame. That
I tried.
That would have been a compelling interview. Rebecca Hill, she's admitted now. She has come out. This is one she's not fighting. Everything else she's denied. She has now admitted to plagiarizing the opening section of her book concerning the infamous Alex Murdaugh double murder trial. The revelation comes as a significant blow to Hill's already controversial legal career, further entangling her into a web of legal issues. There's one thing that she needs right now, and that's
drink.
That and credibility. And she has, well, not the latter, but maybe the first. If I were her, I think I'd be in that state at this moment. A statement released December 26, Hill's lawyers acknowledged the plagiarism and cited tight deadlines for the self-published book titled Behind the Doors of Justice.
She's the one who decided to write the book. Who's putting the deadline on her?
That's the fun part of that sentence. Tight deadlines for the self-published book. There's it doesn't work together. That's your own deadlines. You need a little more time to write that forward. Take a little more time to write that forward, because all it does is take the click of a mouse to go, plagiarism.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the, I know the difference, but in today's world, which is worse? Plagiarism, stealing somebody else's work, or having Chat GPT take your material and turn it into something? Which is worse?
Well, here's the thing. You're never going to beat Chat GPT. So that's where I'm like, it's going to gather information. These bots, the AI is going to do this. So I feel like it's a losing battle. That to me is the battle of let's encrypt CDs so you can't rip them anymore. Or all sorts of bizarro things that never really worked very well until we got to the world and Apple said, hey, how about we just charge like 99 cents a song? Or better yet, let's make it a subscription service and then everybody can get their music, and it's a different model, but we're never going to go back to the way it was, because you won't be able to do that.
Bingo.
That's how I feel about ChatGPT. So if you're willingly plagiarizing someone else's work, like copy paste verbatim, and you're not really making any effort to reword it in your own terms. I mean, if you look at every damn news story out there, it's the same story being told in different ways.
It is.
So, and that's not plagiarism. You're retelling a story, as long as you're not like literally taking someone else's sentences and pasting them. That's kind of what happened here, though. Attorneys Justin Bamberg and Will Lewis expressed Hill's deep remorse for her, quote, unfortunate lapse in judgment. She seems to have a lot of those. The plagiarism was brought to light by Neil Gordon, Hill's co-author. So the co-author did it. Neil, did you just want to go on this thing for the name? And just because you thought, I don't know, who had been one of her staunchest defenders, Gordon announced earlier that he would sever all professional ties with Hill after she privately confessed to stealing portions of the book from drafts provided by BBC reporter Holly Honderich.
Wow.
Hondrich's drafts and Hill's book's preface bore striking similarities. Both began by describing Alex Murdaugh as appearing bored during his trial, hunched over the defense table and affected by months of imprisonment. They also painted a vivid picture of the Murdaugh family's influence over the landscape, featuring marshlands, palm trees, white clappered churches, and porch-ringed homes. So really going into like the way you would describe a picture, and that's usually unique to a story. I mean, unless we're all looking at the same building and talking about the same thing. Furthermore,
yeah, but we all have a different interpretation
exactly.
of that too. You and I could both look at the same building and have immensely different stories.
Here's another one of the kickers that Becky Hill was too stupid to realize you can't do. Hill's book's preface included quotes from several of Honderich interviews, attributing them differently in some cases. The blatant plagiarism was discovered when Hill's government email account message became public in December, revealing her unethical conduct. Now, you can quote people from other interviews from other sources, but you should say, this is what so-and-so said to so-and-so. There's nothing wrong with doing that when you attribute, and because it's a statement out in the public ether. It's different if you're saying you gathered it, or it's someone else entirely that a quote is from. That's not true. That's lying. It's also plagiarism. The emails exchanged between Hill and Honderich indicated that the BBC reporter did not intend to share her work with Hill initially. However, Hill failed to delete the draft as promised, forwarding it to her personal email and a local paper's publisher instead.
Oh, boy.
So she's got this work and like, I want to work on a book too. And then looks like she then just decided to lift pieces of the book. Yeah, that's not going to come back to bite you at all, Becky. Despite the subsequent admission of plagiarism, Hill's attorney stated that she had reached out to Honderich to apologize, although the BBC declined to comment on the matter. The plagiarism revelation compounds Hill's legal woes, as they all already there, facing allegations of jury tampering and ethics violations related to Alex Murdaugh's trial. Murdaugh's legal team accused her of tampering with the jury, a matter expected to be examined in a public hearing presided over by former South Carolina Chief Justice Jean Toll. That's later in January. Additionally, Hill is reportedly the subject of 2 complaints lodged about the State Ethics Commission. Her troubles escalated further when agents from the State Law Enforcement Division, SLED, seized her phone in November, coinciding with her son's arrest on charges of wiretapping.
God, this whole family.
This is... Neil Gordon, who had supported Hill throughout the entire controversy, expressed his disappointment, stating, as a veteran journalist myself, I cannot excuse her behavior, nor can I condone it. The emails in question, part of a cache of over 2,100 emails released by Colleton County, span nearly a year of correspondence. They reveal Hill's involvement from the preparations for the Murdaugh trial to her vehement denial of jury tampering allegations. Gordon, the co-author, decided to scrutinize the emails once they became public. He discovered the BBC's draft's remarkable resemblance to Hill's book preference, which she had written alone, according to Hill. The preface, which Hill used without attributing it, included a personal sign-off, presenting it as a letter from Rebecca Becky H. Hill, Clerk of Court, Colleton County, South Carolina, 2023. While Hill's version of the preface slightly diverged from the final BBC article published after Murdaugh's conviction, her unethical actions have cast that shadow of on her credibility over the Alex Murdaugh trial.
A shadow, it's an eclipse.
Oh, my God. It's amazing how one person's bad actions can have such devastating effects on so many other people. I mean, you're talking about the biggest case, one of the biggest cases last year. I'd say it was probably the biggest court case of last year, right by Daybell. And because of her selfishness, because of her ignorance, whatever you want to call it, you're going to get this guy's trial probably overturned, and he's going to get a second chance, which he could end up getting free after 20 some years. So, cause and effect.
And it has nothing to do with the actual alleged crime that he committed. It's because she couldn't do her freaking job.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all because it's nothing to do with the actual crime. This is how, actions have consequences. You try and teach your kids this when they're young. And if you do this, no, everything spiders out. And what you do will affect more than just what you're saying, what you're doing. I mean, it's weird to think about, but there's so many ways that is true. And so many times in life where that happens and nobody's even aware of it. I mean, somebody could be sitting in their car right now listening to this conversation and wanting to finish it before they go into their house. And then they're going to go into their house and they're going to have their life saved because the murderer that was waiting behind the door already got the jewels and left out the back door. But had that conversation not gone on that long, they would have walked in and been killed immediately. And then the dog would have eaten their body. And the neighbor would have found it a few weeks later, would have ended up on a Netflix series, and it would have been really dramatic, and we would have talked about it. But because they stayed a little bit longer to listen, that didn't happen. And that's an insane example. But things like that happen all the time. Not necessarily someone hiding in your house killing you, but I think about that sometimes, like on the road, like you drive up on a big accident and like, shit, I was going to leave a little bit earlier. I would have been like right here for that.
It happens all the time. Yeah, you're right. Just it's a matter of moments sometimes that make the difference.
And you can't predict it. You can't. It's life. You have to just live it, see where it goes. But these are certainly choices that she willingly made that now will have profound effects on hundreds of people. All the people involved in putting that trial on and probably going back to court again. So I think we have yet to hear the rest of the Becky Hill story. I think there's more to come. I would put money on it. I'm very curious about the wiretapping, what's going on there, if she was involved, if it was, son trying to help mom. Hey, Mom, happy Mother's Day. I just wiretapped so-and-so. Oh, great, honey. It's so much better than roses. I kind of feel like that might be how things went on in the Hill household. But who knows? Time,
you're right.
Time will tell.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.